Welcome back to Vita Social News today on Wednesday, the 9th of February 2022. And today I will talk about Vita Dynamic for implant-supported restorations. If you have questions, as always, you always can call us, you always can write an email to info@vita-zahnfabrik.com, or because I think Emad is here, info@vita-zahnfabrik.com. Yeah. I will follow you here with my phone. I will look if you have questions. I will hopefully get them answered. I hope here we are. And yeah, we start now to talk about Vita Dynamic. First of all, what kind of materials do we have? What kind of materials do we need for making restorations? And I will show you also a workflow for another idea which I got from really nice guys from Austria. Yeah, Achim and Ivan. They sent me a case and I will show you the case. But first I would like to talk a little bit about the materials. We do have oxide ceramics, aluminum oxide, zirconia, different kind of zirconias. We do have feldspar ceramics like the Vita Blocks Mark II, like the Vita Blocks Trilux 40 and the Real Life block. And we have different kind of glass ceramics, lithium disilicate, lithium silicate, and of course we do have composites, high filled and low filled, and the hybrid material. And today, on the 9th of February 2022, we only have one hybrid material. It's Vita Dynamic, and I will talk shortly, briefly about Vita Dynamic before I will show you this really interesting case. If you have questions, please interrupt me, and I will hopefully get all your answers immediately given. So, what is Vita Dynamic? So we have two different materials. Which we combine. This is Vita Dynamic, completely different materials. Like we are building houses with concrete, where we have a network out of steel, where we put the concrete in. So concrete steel will make it possible that we can build houses up to 300 floors and things like this. So, and we did exactly the same with Dynamic. We do have a network out of ceramic. We have nearly no deformation with ceramic before it breaks. And then we put into the network, and this is the difference to all other materials which are playing in that area. We put in the network out of ceramic, we put plastic in. So, okay, the workflow, it is quite simple. We are mixing the color, the shade already in the ceramic powder. Then we are pressing this to a block, and we are firing the block to a porous state. So it is not dense. That is a very important thing. So it is not dense. So this is the ceramic powder, which the color, with the shade in the ceramic material. And then it's fired to a porous state, and this looks under the SEM, it looks like this. We have a network, sinter necks, between the ceramic particles. This is completely different to any other material which has plastics, which has ceramic parts. This is the difference. This is the difference, that we have a network out of ceramic. And then we take this ceramic, and this is the big thing here at Vita. We take it and we put some magic in this, like the polymer, it's an infiltrating process of the polymer into this network out of ceramic. It's working like this. You may all know from Inceram alumina or things like this. And if the polymer is in it, we have a very complex process with heat and pressure. The polymerization is done with heat and pressure. So, and then for you, for customers, for dentists, for someone you are working with, it is easy if he gets it. It is named hybrid ceramic, and if a dentist sees ceramic, he's doing the ceramic workflow to bond it to the teeth. And this is also important for the case I will show you. And if you get the material, you can etch it. You can etch it with hydrofluoric acid, 60 seconds, and you have a really, etched surface which you can easily bond to the tooth or to other things. I will come to this point later. So, and then another very important thing. So the breaking of the material is also different compared to others. This is the 3-point flexile strength test, where we have with Vita YZ, we have round about 900, 1000, 1100, 1200 megapascal. We are breaking this material in that way, like a traditional silicate ceramic. We have this angle where the load was based. We have this angle breaking. This is very typical if you have a ceramic break, and this is how it looks like. But Vita Enamic breaks different. It breaks different. We have a slightly flexibility in this material. So it is looking like this. We have a little flexibility in this material. And a deformation. And that is, I think, that's the main thing. We have a deformation, so it gets some of the force out. We have a shock absorbing in the material here. Okay, this is also different to normal ceramics. So in this case, it acts more like a composite material and not like a ceramic. Okay, the etchability is like a ceramic. This flexibility is like a composite. So it is something in between, as we say, it is a hybrid. Another thing is, you can save money. So you can really save money. You can, mill up to 148. This is what we did here at Vita, 148 units with one set of burrs. All other materials, feldspathic materials, glass ceramics, they are around about 20 with one set of burrs. So we can do up to 7 times more one set of burrs, more units with one set of burrs. This is working with Vita Enamic. Another very important thing, I'm looking for questions, no questions until now. Another important thing is that we have now the possibility to, in a very easy way, like we all do with staining and glazing in the ceramic part, with Vita Accent Plus. The Vita Accent Plus, it is also there, and you can use it like a ceramic stain and glaze material very easily on the crown. Easy. Everybody who knows how to work with a staining and glazing with ceramic can now do the same, exactly the same with Vita Enamic. Vita Accent LC, it's called. LC means at Vita products, or with Vita product, means light curing. And another important thing to do what Ivan and Achim did is that you can mill very precise. And I show you just one case to show this. This is a veneer, a non-prep veneer, which is milled in the CEREC MCXL. So it's not a high-class milling device, as may some of you have in their dental office. This is the MCXL made and designed for chairside. So, and even with this, it is very precise. It will be also very precise with a 5X very precise mill. So, and if we know all this, we can mill very precise, we can etch and bond, we can easily individualize it, and we have a flexibility. We directly think, okay, it works also on implants. And there's also a very interesting study from the University of Genoa. It's in Italy. Professor Maria Menini did this method or this research, and she was looking and comparing different materials with a focus on shock absorbance of the material. Okay, she put as no shock absorbance. She put zirconia, and she was comparing to zirconia, and she found out in this method with the skull, she found out that, for example, glass ceramic compared to zirconia absorbs 25% more of the shock which is coming from the upper or lower jaw. Gold alloys is absorbing 50% of the shock. And especially in implant cases, it is important that we have a material which can absorb the shock. And Inemic is here acting again like a composite, and it is absorbing 70% of the shock. Okay, when we have implants, especially 14-unit implants, we have the problem that we do not know when to stop. And so we need such a material. And all the studies I found, and I think there are many, many more, are showing that there is a huge advantage for shock-absorbing materials, especially in implant cases. Okay? So if you have questions so far, please let me know. No, I don't see a question. Maybe I did not see them. But yeah. So that's why let us fly with the Vita Inemic airplane from Zurich, because this is the most closest or the closest airport from here, to Vienna, to the laboratory of my friends Achim and Ivan. Achim Trea and Ivan Matkovic. They had the problem, there was a person coming in which had for many years some problems. And they didn't know what to do with the patient. They didn't know what and how they can solve their issue. I show you now the case. This was the case in the lower jaw. There was, I think, 3 times a breaking of this bar. So the patient who had implants had a really bad resolution or solution in his mouth, so that it was always breaking here, and they didn't know how to solve this issue. The cobalt chromium combined with the composite was broken. So the bar of cobalt chromium was broken, really, really bad broken. So in the upper restoration, it was still good, so the patient didn't want to make this. In the upper was monolithic zirconia, and the patient didn't want to get this also done in a new way. So they had only the chance to make a restoration against the upper restoration with a new solution, because this one was broken many times. So they were looking in 4 steps what they need. They need something with a knatological aspect. Then they did need something which was easy to repair for everyone. So if the patient is traveling or things like this, it needs to be easily to repair. then of course, aesthetically, it should be also somehow okay, so that the patient can live with this, and the framework needs to be strong or stronger because this was breaking. So they found a way, and they had an idea to work with Vita Dynamic because, as I said, we have very precise milling. We have edgeability, so we can mount this and bond this maybe to a framework. We can easily make it nice looking with light curing composites or with the Vita Accent LC. And I think I have all the, the points they were thinking of. So they designed first, and I think this is very tricky of them, they designed first a try-in bridge. That the patient feels first comfortable, the patient can check also how he can speak, how he can eat, how he can suck, and things like this. So that the patient is familiar with the end result. And this is working with in the digital world. You can check and make the same again with another material. So, and they did a try-in bridge, and this is the design. They were using the ExoCAD system, and they were using as a try-in bridge, they were using Vita CAD Temp. They were using as try-in bridge Vita CAD Temp. This was just that the patient could speak, talk, and all these aspects, also the occlusion system, could be checked with this quite easily. And I know from Achim, he told me this, that they did it 3 times in this case. And I think this was also the reason why they have now such a good result. They were checking this, and the patient could check, and they saw exactly the points where the problem could come from with the checking. That the patient was saved because he knew that the thing I will get will fit, the thing I will get will work, and I will not have a problem. And they did it 3 times with this patient, and it looks like this, and they were checking everything. And then, after this checking, they start with the restoration. Not before, because Achim and Ivan, they told me, so it is Achim Dreher and Ivan Matkovic, they told me this is very important. Then the final restoration will be perfect. We will have no redos, and here we put a little bit more money into this workflow, but in the end, we have a better result because everything will work. And after the checking, they designed the basis out of cobalt chromium. As I said, stronger and with a minimum thickness of Vita Dynamic, like you see here. So they designed it so thick and so strong because we had the breaking of the cobalt chromium before, just to spare the space which Vita Dynamic needs. And this was the result. And you see here, it's very strong and very tough bar with perfectly prepared teeth, single unit teeth. And then they did the milling of all the Vita Dynamic, so no questions, of all the Vita Dynamic crowns. Then, after everything was done, they start now to make the final result. As I said, they were doing a little bit, but only in the anterior area, cut the Vita Dynamic. So they milled or grinded a little cutback into the Vita Dynamic, and then they put it and placed it onto this cobalt chromium bar. But the cobalt chromium bar was also prepared for the next step. So it was also prepared for the next step. So it was, and Achim told me that they have good result with this workflow, and I can tell you Vita is saying, yeah, this works, so they did absolutely correct here. They were using, in this case, Vita VM13 Opaque for the gingiva and for the crowns. This was fired in this furnace, and then they had a not, let's say, silver-looking framework of the cobalt chromium. And then they knew also that they will use, and I think this is also very tricky and clever of the both, they will use a bonding system which is a neutral in shade, so that they know when they are doing this, the result will be in the end with a neutral shade. It will be no influence on my final restoration. As I said, they were making in the anterior area from canine to canine, they were putting a little bit of light curing, VMLC in this case, on top to make especially the anterior area more nice looking, good looking, and then they mount and fixed with the neutral bonding system the Vita Inamic on top. Okay, the Vita Inamic on top, and bonded it with a neutral, no question, with a neutral bonding system. You see how it's looking, and Achim and Ivan, they told me also why they are using single units and not putting, let's say, Vita CAD-TEM as a bar on top, because single units are better to repair. They are more easy to repair. They can just get them out if something is happening. Until now, nothing happened, not only with this patient, also with other patients. So they can put it out and just go back into the software and just click the button and mill the new unit, the new, in this case, veneering unit out and fix it easily. The dentist can even fix it in the mouth. The dentist could fix it also with a chairside milling. So it is quite easy to repair. This was one of the tasks they had before they were designing this. It was looking like this, and for sure they did also the gingiva with VMLC, very nice looking, and they put it in the mouth, and the patient was happy with the result, as we can all see. The dentist is Dr. Arnhardt, and Achim Trea and Ivan Matkovic did the job. And they did not only this one, they did many others. And if you have such a really nice case you would like that I show it here, you can send it. And last week I was asking if you have a case which we could use maybe here, or we could make a publication out of it. I was asking, and I was mentioning that the first one who sends a case with Vita Lumex will get a present, will get a gift from me. And I have the gift here. It is, and I show you again, it is a wonderful glass plate for technicians. It's a wonderful glass plate. It is together designed with Renfat, and here it is Vita. You see, here is Vita on the glass plate, and this is the Renfat technical plate with EverWet plate. And who will receive this plate? Who will receive this plate? I show you now the case I got. Someone did send, and normally I would say now I would like to hear some tones. And the case is from Alexander Savov. He did send this in. Can you see what this is? So these are veneers, refractory dye veneers. Unfortunately, not Lumex, but he was the first one sending this. This is VM9. And I can tell you, Alexander, I was really impressed by this case. I say thanks to you, and you will receive this. And if you see, this is just a diastema filling with a refractory VM9 material. Fantastic solution here. It's just a little bit of VM9 in the refractory material. Why not? Oh, there's a question. Why not zirconia bar? Very good question, Hans. Hans Kerkwig is asking why not. I'm going back, sorry. In this case, why not a zirconia bar? Yeah. The patient, actually in this case, the patient didn't want to have a zirconia bar. The patient did want to have a cobalt chromium bar, and Achim and Ivan are doing, in some cases, zirconia bars, in other cases, cobalt chromium bars. It is depending on the dentist and on the patient. In this case, they did choose this because the patient didn't want a zirconia bar, but they both are doing also zirconia bars, and they have very good results with zirconia bars as well. So no other question to this. But coming back to Alexander Savov. Thanks for this. As I said, I was asking for Vitalumex. I will tell you now, next month in March, we will have another product. So you should be here on the 1st March session. It will be the 2nd of March on 4 o'clock German time, Wednesday German time. And I will ask again for another material solution restoration like this one. And you can win then a watch, a Vita watch, a really nice Vita watch I will show you then. You can win this. This time, Alexander Savov did win this EVA wet plate designed from Renfat and Vita. And you will receive it this week, maybe next week, but you will receive it, and I say thanks to him. And if you have questions, further questions, please let me know. I will try to answer them, or I will later look in the comments and answer them. If you have no questions, we will see us next week. I will go now for coffee. Imad will go into his bed because in Australia it is very late, and I wish you a perfect evening. And if you have an idea what we would like to see here, what we should talk about, please let us know. We will make it happen. And also, if you have someone which we should have here together with me, please let us know, and we will find somehow a solution how to do this. I wish you a perfect evening. And okay, next time I will talk about Vita Ampria. There's just a question regarding this, so I will do this. And thanks to you all. Wish you a perfect evening, a good night for Imad, and a good day for those who are just starting now. And yeah, hope to see you soon, or at least next week, Wednesday again. Goodbye.